Okay, it's day 172. This is part 2. Welcome to Hearst Castle, everyone. I found out from Crowdsource the Truth that I'm the heir of the Hearst riches from my dad's invention. So I just want to thank the internet for the billions of dollars that I'm receiving now from Motorola. It's quite amazing. The money is pouring in so much. We've gone to Bitcoin because it's stacked up. We couldn't get through the front door here. Do not believe that this is a regular. I'm trying not to show my brother's house, but do not believe that this front, the Hearst Castle is actually behind here. And I love Quinn Michaels because he's so intelligent. And I just want to amplify a couple of things he said about my dad's patent. Yes, it was a patent which could be amplified. So it starts out as a cordless phone where you could make a phone call out here close by. But he always thought about factories. He was a big factory guy. And he wanted to do factories. And of course, he was in the military. So he was always thinking about military applications. And if you put an antenna high enough up in the air, if you have the rights to this, and my brother, actually, the one in California who I wish would leave Quinn alone, leave Jason alone, leave everybody alone. But we'll see if he does or not. But anyway, if you put up a high enough antenna, you can have this thing called a repeater. And that allows you to get farther and farther distances. So you could literally extend a phone that just has the same principles of communicating out here in the front yard to a worldwide phone call, which is what my dad's thing was. And I remember I slipped a Motorola phone in my dad's shirt pocket at the nursing home right before he died. And he was able to, I made a phone call to that phone and he heard it ringing and he cried. So I remember that was a very touching moment with my father right before he died. But the idea was, if you put it up high enough, if you put it up high enough on a building, you can do this kind of long-term transmission. And the guy named Martin Cooper, who was also a Navy intel guy, a radio guy, did that. He put it up on the Willis Tower, which was a Sears Tower then, and he put it up at the John Hancock building as to cover like goalposts over Chicago. Chicago was the first place it was tried. My father's, it wasn't the SEIU at that time, it was the Teamsters at that time, came to our house, much like this. I was sitting in the back where the milkman, we had actually milkmans came, and there was two SEIU Tonys, only they were Teamster Tonys. My father had gotten about $1,000 from the Teamsters to build their first phone with these parts. So that's that story. But it was sold to Golden Bear Communications or Golden Bear Investments, I can't remember which is out of Akron, Ohio. Jack Nicklaus, I believe, was kind of like the guy, but the union was basically laundering money through this thing with Jack Nicklaus. They took it and sold it to a hedge fund, or back then it was called an investment fund, through Alan Dorfman, who was consolidating all the Teamsters. He was consolidating the 10 different Teamsters investments, 10 different, whatever you want to call fronts for all the different things. And Cleveland was kind of a hotbed for pagers, phones, etc. It was a real big thing, remote control bombs and all this kind of stuff, which my dad had nothing to do with, but there was other people working on that stuff. So anyway, that's the bottom line. That's all the facts about the cell phone. And Martin Cooper did that. I believe that investment, that technology did go into Motorola about 10 years later. 1973, Martin Cooper walked down the street, down Michigan Avenue, and made a phone call, cellular phone call. And the technology really didn't commercialize for another 20 years. But that's the story. Did he want to do a time phone? No, I don't know what that is. They also kind of, like Jason was talking, some kind of way of attacking me, or Quinn was talking about some kind of technology that could attack me. I've never used bots. I don't know what bots are. I mean, I know what they are, but I've never used bots. The one day they did a show about Jason's trend line and my trend line, and said I had 89 viewers on January 18th last year. Well, I'd been doing, that was about 100 days into Where is Eric Braveman. I had about 10,000 subscribers, so I thought I had more than that actually, but anyway, we'll see. I actually thought I had about 30,000 at that time, but you can check these records. So that's the answer to that. The day it went up to 56,000, I remember exactly what day. I remember exactly where I was. I was in Yonkers. We were doing the Alpha Jalo story. I was with a viewer, And that was the day he was indicted. That was the day Imran Awan was indicted. And that's when we had that spike to 56,000, then it came back down. Now, I've always thought that there was a governor or some kind of metering technology to keep me below 50,000, because 50,000 is kind of like, you know, now you're a personality or whatever the hell. And I've been just kind of flatlined since then. Now, I've never, ever used a bot or even know how to organize a bot. If there was a way to do it, please send me and tell me how to go through all my comments, because I spend a lot of time just looking through comments of the videos I do. So I realize this is a little bit long, but I just wanted to kind of expand on, and by the way, this is not my brother Dave's house, it's my brother Greg's house. I have a brother Bob, I also have a sister Sunny and a sister Diane, in addition to Dave, who's my next son's brother. So I'm the youngest of 6. So it isn't the Swigert brothers. My name is George Webb Swigert, okay? I shortened it to Webb because I'm not on the internet, and it's just easier to say. Plus, it's on the web, George on the web. So anyway, if people have a hard time with that, can't figure out who it is, I apologize. My name is George Webb Swigert. So there you have it. There's your download. I wanted to do this in front of the Willis Tower because I wanted to do it right behind me, but it just so happens my brother hasn't taken me to the train station yet with task force.